This series is not meant to be an accurate representation of the current NASCAR Cup Series. This is a fictional series, ran on NR2003 for enjoyment. I hope you enjoyed today's race.
Hello everybody, welcome to the round of 14 at Kansas Speedway. Today in the NR2003 simulation season, 14 drivers race their way into the playoffs. The bottom two drivers of those 14 today will be eliminated and out of contention for a championship. A couple things before we get going. This is an example of what to look for if you're looking for a playoff driver. Splitters are yellow, windshield banners are yellow, and the spoiler is yellow as well. If they have those markings on their car, it means they're a playoff-eligible driver. Finish in the bottom two, and you lose those, and you lose the shot at a championship. We're ready to go racing here in the round of 14. We're going to take you trackside to get the engines fired and drivers on track.
Drivers, start your engines!
Engines fired up on the pit lane. Starting lineup for today's race. Austin Cindric barely missing out on the playoffs will start on pole. Our highest playoff driver is sitting there on the outside front row, William Byron. The rest of the field will scroll by now. We are going to talk a lot about playoff drivers today versus non-playoff drivers today. I'll show you the graphic one more time to what to look for a playoff eligible driver. At the top of the screen, their names and numbers will also scroll by as the race goes on. Field in the hands of Austin Cindric once the pace car pulls down. The bottom two finishing playoff drivers today will be eliminated. The pressure is on. Pace car is in. Cars come into the restart box here in Kansas. Green flag in the air. We are racing. Round of 14. Austin Cindric jumps to the early lead. Does not have a win yet this season. Cindric to the early lead. Kurt Busch looking underneath William Byron for the second position. We've got some three wide action. Ty Dillon smack dab in the middle of that. How do you race these playoff guys if you're a driver that is not in the playoffs? Some drivers just say to go after it. Bottom two playoff drivers right now. If the race were to end. Sorry about that. The bottom two drivers would be Chastain and Brad Keselowski. They would be eliminated. We did have a spin. We'll get you a replay of what happened there. No caution. Here's a look at the spin. Timmy Hell just misjudged where Ryan Preece was. No contact with any of the wall or anything. Both drivers continue on. No caution. And we're back live. William Byron putting the move on the 45 of Kurt Busch. Trying to get that second position. Three playoff drivers lined up right on the bottom four, actually. Byron, Elliott, Kyle Busch, and Justin Haley. Haley must be relieved to be at the front of the pack. After a couple bad weeks, some nerves started to rise up in Justin Haley. Behind them, four more competitors for the championship. Alex Bowman, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr. All these guys racing together. Racing pretty tough up the front. Elliott gives Byron a shove to the lead. That's going to clear both those Hendrick cars. So Hendrick Motorsports bringing some of their best stuff here to Kansas. See the other two Hendrick cars battling there. Daniel Suarez battled his way into the playoffs last week at Richmond. Came in 14th. Right now, Suarez being shown in the 14th position. Now being shown in the 18th position is Austin Dillon. Denny Hamlin, he's fallen off the pace a little bit. Chastain, Keselowski, and Blaney, the bottom three. Of course, Blaney does not have a win this season. And Blaney right now in 25th, that is not going to do it. Periodically, you will see a graphic across your screen that show the bottom two drivers. That way we can keep you informed of where the playoff eligible guys are. And Justin Haley's starting to fall back a little bit. Now battling with Joey Logano. Logano, one of those guys that missed out on the playoffs. Looked like he was going to make a late charge and maybe even make it. But unfortunately, it didn't work out well for the driver of the 22. Fight is on at the back of the pack between Blaney and Chastain. Blaney trying to make up a couple spots. Unfortunately for Blaney, and Chastain would be eliminated right now. But luckily enough for these two, there are three playoff cars that are right up the road from them. So not too far off. Oh man! Chastain with an issue! Chastain in the outside wall. Some damage on the side and into the wall again for the one of Chastain. Chastain slow down the front straightaway, and that's going to hurt him a lot. We're going to take a look at what happened to Chastain in turn number 3. Chastain just into the corner, just too high. Gets up into the outside wall. Rides that outside wall all the way around the corner, doing damage to his race car, and then impacts the wall again off of turn number 4. Heavy damage on the right-hand side of Chastain's car. Back live, our first playoff driver to have an issue, and it's the one of Chastain. Damage on the right side of the car, got into the wall, and now he's set back here. Up the road, we've got Ryan Blaney that has now gotten by Brad Keselowski. So Keselowski now on the chopping block. Blaney starting to make some moves underneath the 3 car of Austin Dillon now. Playoff field is actually split almost right in the middle. You have half of them right around here and half of them up the front of the field. Speaking of the front of the field, Austin Dillon was put up high. Tight racing here. Dillon under some pressure from Keselowski. Keselowski trying to not be that odd man out. Chastain's actually worked his way back up to the back of the 6 of Keselowski, and he can see the 3 of Austin Dillon as well. So Chastain has worked himself back into this picture. But back up the front of the field, Christopher Bell leading the race right now. behind him. Ooh, a little contact, a little blocking by the 10 of Almirola on William Byron. Byron not going to like that. Almirola almost just ran him right down to the apron. The battle is on here for the 4th position between Elliott and Kyle Busch. Biggest thing is, if you're up here, don't want to run the risk of getting in an accident. Elliott will clear the 18. Harvick battling 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars right here. The 48 of Alex Bowman and the 5 of Kyle Larson. Harvick way up the racetrack. Battling hard. You have this cluster of cars. Martin Truex, no wins on the season, but made it in on points. Caution flag on the racetrack. So a yellow will come out here. It's going to be for the 14 of Chase Briscoe. And we will get you a look at what happened to the 14 car to bring out our first yellow of the day on lap 19. Looks like Briscoe racing with Cody Ware. Ooh, Cody Ware got into the back bumper, maybe misjudged the corner a little bit and sent Briscoe into the wall. We'll get another angle of it. There's Cody Ware, goes into the corner just slightly into the back bumper of Briscoe, and both of them end up into the outside wall. Could have been a lot worse, given the situation. Right on board here with Chase Briscoe. And there was the contact. Both those cars sustaining some heavy damage. And we are back live. Pit stops just completed. The top 5 as follows. Christopher Bell, Eric Almirola, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch. We will return in a moment with the green flag from the round of 14 here in Kansas. We are back live here in the round of 14, taking a look at our playoff picture here. The 2 cars on the chopping block right now, Ross Chastain and Justin Haley. Talked about Justin Haley in the beginning of the race. He is running in the back of the pack now, not where he wants to be. At the front of the field, it is Christopher Bell. Field will be in the hands of the 20. Pace car pulls into pit lane. Green flag is back in the air. We're back racing in the round of 14. Daniel Suarez, quick jump to the outside. Trying to make some moves. And Suarez might get swallowed up here and stuck on the high side. So Suarez up the top of the racetrack. A hornet's nest. Right here in Kansas. That was probably not the move that Suarez wanted to make, because look at the spots that he's losing. And oh, a little bit of contact maybe with the 41 of Cole Custer. Might have been some slight contact there. That was almost disastrous for the 99. Suarez now battling with Austin Dillon. It is still the 31 and the 1 in the elimination zone. Check in on them real quick to see how close they are to another playoff car. Unfortunately, they've got a lot of cars between them and the next playoff car. So Chastain getting in the wall early. And Justin Haley just having a bad race. But anything can happen. In this playoff format, you have to be perfect. If you're not perfect, you don't make it. Right now, Hamlin is 12th in the playoff standings. Right now, battling his 2311, the team that he owns. Bubba Wallace right behind him. That is the guy that Chastain and Haley are chasing down. Look at the front, William Byron trying to get the lead back. He was leading for a minute. Kyle Busch looking to the inside of Eric Almirola. Almirola throws a block again. Almirola has been a blocking machine this race. So far, the racing fantastic. Ooh, Byron uses the nose a little bit, heads up the racetrack, but is able to keep second position. Maybe not. As Almirola to the inside will try to clear Byron going into turn number 1 and 2, but Byron fighting back hard on the outside. Byron obviously the highest scored playoff contender. Did the crossover move on Almirola. We'll get back by him. Now looking for more, looking for the lead. Side by side for the lead down the back straightaway with Christopher Bell. All the Hendrick Motorsports cars have worked their way into the top 10. Byron right now, obviously the leader. Chase Elliott in 5th, Kyle Larson in 6th. Alex Bowman being shown in the 8th position. So Hendrick bringing some of their good stuff here to Kansas. This Hornets Nest has a bunch of guys that are contending for the playoffs. We've got Suarez, Blaney, Dillon, Harvick, and Keselowski all battling in a bunch here. This little pack being led by Austin Cindric. Started on the pole this afternoon, but having a rough time. Suarez up the racetrack. Dillon to the inside. This is the battle for the 15th position. Dillon wants it. Looks like he will get it down into turn number 1. And Keselowski's looking like he wants to follow suit and follow Austin Dillon through. Looks like he will edge out in front of Daniel Suarez. And he will clear him. Suarez almost into the wall like his teammate was earlier. And we have a battle heating up here. Chastain. He has caught Denny Hamlin. So Chastain now looking at the back bumper of Denny Hamlin. This would be to get him to the next round. Chastain to the inside. Hamlin with the better arc down into the corner. This is the battle for the transfer spot. Hamlin has it right now, but Chastain is looking to get it down to the inside. He's going to get credited with being in front of Denny Hamlin that lap. And Chastain will take the position. Now Hamlin put in a tough position. the potential of not making it to the next round growing lap after lap as he sees Ross Chastain drive away. The problem that Hamlin has is Chastain is driving away, and there really is not any playoff drivers that are coming back to him. Maybe Keselowski getting into it a little bit with Michael McDowell. This race has been an interesting race where there's been comers and goers. You've seen cars surge to the front and then fall behind. Is this another case of that? As we can see, Keselowski was battling hard with McDowell, but now it looks like Keselowski with a big run down the front straightaway to get to the back bumper of Daniel Suarez. Huge run down into turn number 1. It looks like he may clear Suarez off of 2, but maybe not, as Suarez with a better run might be able to hang on that quarter panel of the 6th Keselowski. Not much time left in this first race of the playoffs. Keselowski battling with his teammate, Chris Buescher, probably saying, just let me go. Fighting like this is not going to help Keselowski's case if Hamlin is able to come up and catch him. Front of the field still being led by William Byron. So Byron wins at Dover and now is on a stride as he's leading here in Kansas. These two drivers battled pretty hard last week, and it looked very similar to this with Kyle Busch in front of Kyle Larson. Except this time they are 3rd and 4th. These guys can't get away from each other. Battling pretty hard. And a driver that had a rough start to his day is Ryan Blaney. We saw him in the back of the pack earlier. He's been able to work his way back up to the front, running in the 7th position right now. Just passed Chase Elliott not too long ago. Elliott running in the 8th position. So yet again, as we were talking about, some comers and goers here in this race, as Cindric looks to the inside of Chase Elliott. Drivers up front just want a mistake-free race. That's what these playoffs are all about. Mistake-free races. Finish at the front of the pack. Martin Truex still in a decent spot. 15th position for Martin. Kurt Busch way up the racetrack. That's going to allow Martin Truex Jr. to look to the inside. And Suarez to look to the inside. Brad Keselowski starting to work his way up towards the front now. Looking at the top 10 right now. Bowman has the 10th position. Keselowski would like to take it. And then we look to the back of the field. And we find Denny Hamlin. We find Justin Haley. The two drivers on the verge of being eliminated. Haley is so far back. He's been battling with Corey LaJoie and JJ Yeley for most of the race. Hamlin, same thing. He's, ever since he ended up at the back of the pack, it's been a rough go for the 11 car. Desperation. He needs a caution to rack the field up again. Who knows if he will get one. Chastain getting into it a little bit with Cole Custer. The Stewart-Haas cars have been throwing blocks like it's going out of style this afternoon. Chastain works his way around Cole Custer. The rest of these playoff cars fighting pretty hard here. You would think that they'd want to take it easy. But it is not looking like it. As Truex is battling hard with Alex Bowman right now. He's going to get by him. The track a little bit. Blaney's actually moved into the third position. Larson right behind him. Kyle Busch behind him. Eric Almirola, the only car not in the playoffs in the top 5. Almirola right there in second position. But it's all William Byron. After getting a win in Dover, they are riding that momentum right into the playoffs. And what a statement it would be for William Byron to end up as the winner here today in the first round of the playoffs after not winning all year long. Chastain, he has been all over the place today, in the wall, in the back of the pack, in the front of the pack, in the middle of the pack. He has been everywhere. And Chastain right now is working his way up towards the front of the field, being shown in 19th right now. Long way out from being eliminated. William Byron off of turn 4. He's going to see the white flag here in Kansas. So Byron down into turn number 1. The best way to make a statement in the playoffs is to win the first race. And William Byron down into turn number 3. Smooth through the middle and off at turn number 4. Byron, for the second time this season, is going to go to victory lane, this time in the round of 14. And the drivers that have been eliminated from the playoffs, Denny Hamlin, and Justin Haley. The bottom 2 finishers out, eliminated from the playoffs. And the playoffs couldn't have started any better for the driver of the number 24. He's going to burn it down here in Kansas Speedway. First playoff race, first playoff win goes to the 24 of William Byron. Wins at Dover 2 weeks ago. Gets some momentum, comes here to Kansas in the playoffs, and gets a win. That's huge momentum for the 24. And William Byron peaking at the right time, possibly, as he goes to victory lane for the second time in 3 weeks. This time, victory lane in the playoffs for William Byron. The round of 14 proved to be an exciting one. William Byron goes to victory lane. Finishing order for everybody else will scroll across your screen now. Byron the winner. The bigger story is the 2 drivers that have been eliminated from the playoffs. Denny Hamlin and Justin Haley. Unfortunately for those 2 drivers, their bid for a championship is over. pull up the remaining drivers for the round of 12. Bowman, Larson, Truex. Today's winner, William Byron. Just to name a few of them. And these 12 drivers will move on to next week. And 2 more will be eliminated after next week's race. The excitement was huge today. And unfortunately for the 11 and the 31, their chance for a championship is over. This type of playoffs is kind of brutal when it comes down to it. You can have one bad day, and that one bad day is enough to get you eliminated. And that's what happened to the 31 and the 11 today, but the excitement of the battling with Chastain, getting in the wall and able to fight back and get by both of those cars to ultimately move himself to the round of 12. Battling up the front, how close the racing was between these playoff cars. We're hoping that that will continue, and we're hoping to see you in the round of 12 next week. We hope you enjoyed today's race. We'll catch you in the next one.